to come on the Rich Eisen Show today. It's a very Heisman Friday. Archie Griffin's going to come on. Brent Musburger's going to call in. That's a thrill.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, he's fantastic. There's nothing else you don't want from him. Andre Holland will come on. He is in the Nick and also in Selma. But before we do anything else, we go to the man of the hour. He broadcasts everything in the history of television and everything moving forward. Mike Tirico joins us. Mikey, where are you?
Suze, I am in Chicago. We have the Bulls tonight and then the Bears on Monday, so you can't beat that combo. Actually, just had a great sit down with Derrick Rose that we'll play a little of during the game tonight.
And what do you have to say? Give us a little preview for the mothership.
It's interesting because there's such panic every time anything happens with Derrick Rose. It's going to be micromanaged because Chicago kid, MVP, the hopes of the Bulls championships post-Jordan, all that stuff. And then I missed really two full years except for 10 games because of the two separate knee injuries. And everybody panics when he's missing games and all this other stuff. And he's got such a good calm about him, a good confidence, and he reminded us that this is the best offensive team I've played with. So people want to see me go to the basket and attack the basket, but he's trying to just fit in with the group. And he's one of my favorite players in the NBA, and I'm really happy to see him back and playing. And Chicago actually is a good team. And usually it's Christmas, and then right after the NFL regular season ends, people start paying more attention to the NBA. Chicago will be a team that we'll be talking about, I think, all the way through the playoff run through May and June.
You're in a good place to be right now, Chicago. I mean, you went from one hot spot to another. I mean, everything that's happening right now, except for the fact that you're freezing. And
yeah,
by the way, the rain stopped out here. The panic is over. The Storm
good.
Watch 2014, we have survived. and my hair still looks good, so that's really all that matters. Let's face it.
That's all that matters, right?
I mean, like, okay.
Mine too, by the way, yeah.
Let me explain to everybody watching. I worked for Mike I was an AP in Bristol, doing Monday Night Countdown when Mike would host the longest show in the history. I think Monday Night Countdown is actually everything that happened wrong with sports because that was the advent of the forever shows.
It was an hour and a half and 2 hours before shows were an hour and a half and 2 hours, yeah.
It was painful, and let's face it, I was the worst AP ever. And because I cared more about the style section than I cared about anything else. You
taught me to pay attention to the New York Times on Sunday to the Brides page, and you would go through that page and pick out the people who you knew from your New York elite lifestyle that you lived. Yeah,
you called me the Carrie Bradshaw of ESPN, which, by the way, is still my very favorite nickname of all time.
Right.
Mike and I also did college football on ABC for 3 years together, and that was a blast, too. And the amount of notebooks, and we should really have a show about our experience from it, by the way.
Good humor.
But in terms of stepping into it and being in good situations, what's your take on what's happening in Chicago with Jay Cutler?
It's brutal. It really is, because the Bears got to the fork in the road, Suze, last year with what do we do? McCown played well, but Cutler's the more talented quarterback. He's the franchise-type quarterback, and they decided to pay him and give him a lot of money. And not just with a franchise tag, 1 year would have been $16 million, but they decided to invest in him. And you thought that with Mark Trestman and Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey and Martellus Bennett and Jay Cutler and Matt Forte, they would just take off this year and things would be good. And it's been anything but. There have been injuries. There have been issues. And, you know, the topper was Aaron Cromer, who's the offensive coordinator, but really he's the O-line coach and works on the run game side of it. Trestman calls the game. And Aaron admitting last night, that he was the person who was a source for stories that Ian Rappaport did on your husband's show, I guess, that essentially said that was there some buyer's remorse with Chicago and Jay Cutler. And you feel bad all the way around because nobody wins in this, and it just causes more stress in a very stressful, we're out of the playoffs, we're missing the playoffs for the fourth time in 5 years Chicago team. So nothing pretty here right now for sure.
No, but it makes for great storylines for your game. Let's face it, let's be selfish.
To try to watch for tension. Is there any tension between the offensive line coach and the quarterback? How's the offensive line playing for Jay? There's been way too much tension and drama for Chicago this year. This is a no-nonsense town. They like defense. They like guys that show up and play. And there's been from Lance Briggs going to a restaurant opening right before week one, all the way through this season, to Brandon Marshall doing Inside the NFL. There's been way too much drama for this team, and it has not worked out well. And the question is, where do they go? Bears always stay with their coaches. They don't go 2 years and hit the reset button. I'd be very interested to see what happens in the offseason here.
No kidding. It's a great drama. It's like Hollywood meets the Midwest. Curious about your take on Aaron Rodgers from what you saw last week. Is he your MVP candidate?
Absolutely. He'd have to lose it in the next 3 weeks for me to not vote for him. He's been awesome, and there's just that intersection where you know where you get it, where you figured out how to play the position, and physically you can still do it, and you understand how to manipulate the messaging through the media, how to orchestrate the game at the line of scrimmage, how to play the most effective football, and he's done all of that. And Suzy, I thought it was really cool because I asked him about last year when he was missing games because of the collarbone injury, and he had to sit out really for half the season and come back here in Chicago and beat the Bears. And he said that was kind of the fuel for how he went about his offseason, his appreciation for what he has each week when he's healthy. And I just don't see anybody, and that's no disrespect to Peyton or Tom or Andrew Luck or anyone else, I don't see anybody playing the position the way he's played it this year. So he's, to me, has to lose the MVP in the next 3 weeks to not win it running away.
Mike Tirico joining us on The Rich Eisen Show. I am Suzy Shuster sitting in for Rich Eisen. It's interesting you bring that up because you're right. Sometimes it takes getting hurt for perspective. We listened to Cam Newton, and we listened to him talking about playing for God's fantasy squad. What was your take listening to him talk yesterday about his experience with this rollover?
I'm assuming that that the higher authority made the playoffs in fantasy. So
yeah.
Still going. It's always good to know.
That's an unreleased Madden that hasn't come out yet.
Very good.
What?
I would obviously anytime you go through something traumatic and emotional, you're going to have that perspective adding moment. And thank God Cam's okay, and thank goodness the other person involved, from everything I heard, was okay. But also that he can take from this an appreciation for the little nuance, the detail we get involved with in the football season. This person's not reading this, and this person's not doing that, and why is this offense not clicking? And that you do lose sight of the fact that they're people with jobs, and there are auto accidents every day, and people don't walk away from some of them, and you're just blessed and fortunate to walk away from it. So hopefully for Cam, all the way around, the perspective gained through this one will be a great foundation for him going forward as he continues to grow, and he'll see things in a different light. Maybe it will help him somewhere down the line to have just a better appreciation for how lucky he is. And I'm glad he was honest and shared it with everybody at the press conference. I thought that was pretty neat of a guy who could have just hid for a few more days and stayed away from the media.
He did a great job, I thought.
Yeah.
One last question before we go. We have like 20 seconds. I mean, it's obviously Mariota, right?
Oh, it has to be.
It's like a joke.
Has to be.
It's like the worst kept secret.
The question will be the biggest margin ever, and then you start looking. Go look at the Heisman Trophy winners and how few have had success in the NFL. It's a very interesting thing because Mariota will be talked about so much over the next few months. But I just choose to let him enjoy this weekend and enjoy that, being part of that unbelievable fraternity of Heisman winners.
Mike, that's been our theme of the day. You should be watching the whole show. You should know me well enough to know I'd have the right theme of the day. Why isn't there a translation?
Planning. There's a theme. It's like the kids. It's a theme. It's a theme. It is what it is.
Happy holidays to you, to Deb. Miss you guys.
Miss you guys, too. We'll see. I have a Clippers game or a Lakers game somewhere in January. We'll come see the Eisen Shuster family.
I am waiting for the phone to ring for that one.
You got it, pal.
Thanks, Mikey.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.